Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jerry Sansing back with another edition of What's Going On in Corpus Christi. Today is Martin Luther King Day. It's Monday, January 15th, 2018. I just wish we'd paid more attention to what went on during the MLK days. It's sad to see all the infighting and racial slurs and everything that's going on these days. It's enough to make one sick. Anyway, I'll get off of that when we are reminded enough. That's why I've turned the TV off and I don't watch this garbage anymore. Anyway, producer is Janelle Bennett. Air times are Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. and Wednesday at 9 o'clock p.m. My email address is gsansing@gmail.com if you'd like to contact me. I get a lot of good comments, the good, the bad, and the ugly, but I can take it, folks. You know, you can't please everyone, so you got to please yourself, as Rick Nelson said back many years ago. Anyway, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back for the short time here. I've adopted this Pinocchio as a typical politician, elected official around here and at the city level, CCISD, Del Mar College, county, state, federal. But you taxpayers need to act a little more like old Jiminy Cricket there and get right in the face of these people and say, you know, let's cut the lies, let's cut the cheating and everything else out. And I'm going to discuss some of that here in just a moment. Anyway, I just thought you'd enjoy seeing that Pinocchio. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that do know me and what I've done over the past 20 years here in town, 20, I'm going on 30 actually, then I use the international symbol for certain things. I use that with the Las Brisas Energy Center and the Clean Economy Coalition, of which I was the chair, shut that process down. We don't have that pollutant spewing mess down here on the bayfront. And then I went, and I think it was Chris Adler. I said no Chris Adler when she was running for the Board of Regents. I mean, I guess she was running for mayor. Carlos Valdez, Mark Skirka, and then I missed terribly. Oh, Destination Bayfront. Thank you, Mr. McCampbell. And also, I've messed up, and you people voted in the Southside campus of Del Mar College bond issue, okay, which I think we're going to sorely regret one of these days. I already do. But anyway, so for those people who have not been totally truthful with us as Board of Regents members, there are 3 of those that are coming up for re-election here this year, and I'd like to get the signs out. This is a crude t-shirt. The better ones are coming, I think, but this is a real good one. And it says, vote no to all current Del Mar Board of Regents members. Okay, there are 3 of those that are going to be up, so that's what I'm talking about. Vote no, and let's vote the bums out. Okay, taxpayers, you can't afford these members anymore. So I'll be right back with you. Okay, here's the back of the t-shirt, folks. It's the same, vote no to all current Del Mar College or Del Mar Board of Regents members. That means the 3 that are going to be up for re-election this fall. But anyway, and what we want to do is to have them reduce your taxes, reduce administrative bloat, which I will discuss, reduce the tuition, which has gone out of hand, and increase academic standards. And that's something that we really need to work on. I could go on for 8 or 10 hours on that subject. Anyway, I won't do that to you, so I'm going to turn this off and I'll be right back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the camera's rolling. Looks like the lights are going well. I'm going to pull around and take my seat. I am wearing that t-shirt that I introduced this show with, and I don't know how much of it shows. I'll show you another version of this, and it is as follows. This is the what's going on in Corpus Christi, Texas, and like I say, it airs at 8:30 on Tuesday evening, and it looks like 9 o'clock after South Texas News and Reviews on Wednesday. So, welcome to this. These flowers are dedicated to my mother, Miss Connie, my wife, Miss Lynn. She passed on about 5 years ago, and a good, beautiful friend of mine these days, Miss April 23. So let me just go ahead with that introduction and show you this other banner that's in here. And this is what's going to go on the yards and so forth here. It's going to be an 18 by 18, my usual big, which makes this much larger. I think that's a little bit easier to read than the oval, although this is a good looking t-shirt, folks. And if you need one, let me know. I've got t-shirts printed with this one on the front and the back also, along with the sayings on that. Now, what we've got is on this sign, I have to put my name down. It says paid for by Gerald Sansing et al. That means and others. I have contributors to this, and it gives my address, and so forth and so on. Okay, and then we have the state rule notice. It's a violation of state law, chapter 392 and 393 of the Transportation Code to place this sign in the right-of-way of a highway. Okay, now a lot of times the code enforcement and all won't enforce things like that. The Delmar College, Delmar College, but the city is very lax in what they do with that sort of thing. Okay, so that's what we've got as far as this is concerned. And then I'll show you this a little bit later. Okay, now the reason that I am upset with the Delmar College Board of Regents, the majority of them, not all of those. We've got a new one on there that's a certified public accountant, and he knows what's going on. And before he was voted in by you fine folks in District 5, he was very concerned about the way that the numbers were handled over there. The accounting of Delmar College taught me a lot about that, and he is a fraud examiner. Okay. Now, on the front of this t-shirt, down below here, it says, taxpayers cannot afford these members. Now, I'm going to give you some numbers and so forth and so on that I can back up. In the press, I can back them up with Delmar College's, their own numbers, accounting systems, and so forth and so on. But we can't afford these members anymore. When they go out and they commit you to what is going to be probably at least $600 million with the South Campus going in for students that we don't have and probably will never have, then that's we can't afford that, folks. The payments are going to be astronomical. Then on the back of this t-shirt, it says reduce taxes. Now I'm going to get into just a little bit of how they messed you around by saying that we were going to have a 5% increase in the enrollment for this fall, and also again in the spring, and that we can justify increasing your taxes, which they did up to the maximum without having to have you go vote on it. But then what they did is they blamed the lack of making that. We actually had a decrease in the fall semester. They blamed that on the hurricane. Okay, now you need to understand that you may have a hurricane, folks. You can't just jump in here and commit $139 million to phase one of a campus that we don't need, and then to put it out south of town where I guess the elite can go out there. That's a finer part of town, and maintain east and west campuses with $157 million worth of buildings. If you go over to East Campus now, the whole center of the campus is gutted. They're putting up this enormous building, more classrooms that we don't need. We've got empty classrooms most every weekend, and I'll get into that in a minute. I used to teach Saturday classes over there to benefit students at the request of Mr. Buddy Venters, okay? But the taxes are going to go up, and can you imagine with about, with the past bonds that we're still paying off, okay, and with the $157 million bond for building and so forth and so on, and then we've got the $139 million that we just you voted in for the Southside campus, and that's only phase one. There are going to be two more extensive building phases on that, so I'd say we're looking at $500 million by the time that thing goes up. And they want to put 20,000 students out there, and we can't get on all of our campuses. And with the online classes and 20% of this number being dual credit students from high schools and stuff, many of which are out of district, they don't pay in district or I mean out of district fees. They actually pay a third of what the normal people do here in district, and it's nuts. Okay, we have to pay faculty members to go out and teach those at outlying high schools and so forth and so on. So they said that they needed to increase the taxes to raise more revenue so we could pay more instructors and so forth with this 5% increase in enrollment for this fall. That did not happen, folks. I've heard anywhere from -5 to -1%. Then the numbers for this fall, this spring that are just now in, I start classes tomorrow on the 16th. Okay, I'm doing a triple overload, and to get students through, and you find folks pay me a third of my normal pay for my overload classes. Okay, so I think I'm contributing. At least I hope I am, but it's not appreciated by the Del Mar College Board of Regents. The majority of them. There is one that appreciates things when faculty members go above board and way beyond what they should be doing. But it's just a crime over there, okay? And what we're doing is we're down to 38% of the faculty members total are tenure track faculty members, which means they're permanent there, okay? And that means that we've got the other percentage, okay? You can figure that out, how much that is, about 62% of part-timers. And the reason they do that is to follow the standard that's set by Coastal Bend College, where you do away with tenure and you don't have to pay people full price and what they're worth to teach. Now I ask you, we've got some good adjuncts here, folks. They come out of a local pool of educated people. But if we needed to hire a specialty faculty member that we could not find here in Corpus Christi, Texas, then those people are not going to come to Del Mar College and teach if they have to put up with that low adjunct rates. Okay, they're not going to do that. Okay, they've dedicated themselves to the teaching, and they want to get compensated for their expertise and so forth and so on. So we need to reduce taxes, which these current board members, all except the one or two, are not going to do. And then it says reduce administrative bloat. Now this is on the back of this t-shirt. Now let me give you an idea. When I first got here in 1989, we had a president, two vice presidents. We had the vice president of instruction, and then we had the vice president of business and finance, and then we had about 4 deans. Okay, we had arts and sciences dean, we had business dean, and then we had the one that was out on West Campus. Okay, the dean of the vocational out there. I guess there were only 3 of them. Now we have more vice presidents, directors, deans, assistant deans, and so forth and so on, assistant directors. Then we've got students, it seems like. And what we've done is we have bloated this administration, which means we've bloated the price that it takes you taxpayers to pay for all the salaries for these people to come in here and sit around and, make rules and regulations and try to badger faculty members and run the full-time faculty members off. That's the whole ploy. Okay? So, and that's condoned by the Board of Regents and the president of Del Mar College. And I showed you this. This is that current thing. Okay? Now, this is a taxpayer dedicated show. Okay? And what we need to do is I've mentioned the low enrollment problems. Okay? Now, Del Mar College administration, administrators told the board members that there would be a 5% student increase in the fall, spring, and summer. Okay, that does not happen. In fact, it's gone just the other way. And then, what do we do? Okay, who are we going to blame for the decrease in the spring? I mean, I don't think it's the hurricane still, because a lot of the people that I had in my fall class even were driving in from Rockport, Aransas Pass, Port A, and so forth and so on, and surrounding areas. So I'm not buying into that, okay? Now, I'm very concerned about this because I am a taxpayer. My taxes go up. I'd rather be using that for my own purposes and for my kids and so forth and so on, and not be spending that for empty classroom space at Del Mar College. okay, and some of the other boondoggles that we've got with the city and the county and stuff, okay? Now, if you take a look at the population growth of Corpus Christi, Texas, and Nueces over the past 50 years, who in their right mind is going to believe that our population will triple in the next 10 to 20 years? It's not going to happen, folks. It's just not going to happen. I've got a hot flash for you. But that's what the Board of Regents members are buying into, as professed by not only the president of Del Mar College, but Mr. Trey McCampbell over here, who's Mr. Growth. We're going to grow this, grow that, and the other, and tax the hell out of you. Remember, he was Destination Bayfront guru, okay? And he's all over the place. You know, he does this, and he's chair of that, and so forth and so on. And his buddies contributed an awful lot of money, contractors, architects, engineers, and so forth, to his re-election campaign this past year. Okay? So I want you to keep that in mind. So what is the motive for an architectural firm to donate $5,000 to a man's re-election campaign? And then another $5,000, I think it was, to Del Mar College Works, which is that Del Mar College bonds that you people squeak by with about 52-53% of the vote. Okay, I hope this time you will go ahead and educate yourselves and find out how many of these, what I just say, scoundrels on that Board of Regents, you know, are doing. They don't give a damn about students. They don't give a damn about faculty members. They don't give a damn about the general citizens. What they want to do is go on Facebook and publish pictures of this great looking meal with all these alcoholic beverages, the drinks around there, and you know, say, oh, this is great, honey, we're having such a good time. And then to have the unmitigated gall to wear a Del Mar College Regent t-shirt into a bar and then take pictures with the Budweiser signs and all the liquor signs over the top of the bar you're sitting at. I mean, it's nuts, folks. Okay, so I don't know, you know, what you people think about this, but I think it's a tragedy. Okay, I just don't know. Now, there were some other things that happened, and the local newspaper doesn't help us very much. They won't tell the truth. Okay. So it's crazy, okay? All right, and then as a taxpayer, did you have the authority or the opportunity to vote whether you're going to buy 96 acres of swampland to put that Southside campus on out there at Yorktown and Rodfield Road? Okay, was I asleep when the vote was taken? Okay, they spent something like $60,000 an acre for that. Okay. And it's still sitting there in the development stage on paper at an architect's office. Okay, now it's going to cost you right at $500 million to build that. Plus, we've got $157 million, as I said, that we've got over here. You know, for the current building on East and West, and you know what's going on, folks. Spend, spend, spend. All the taxpayers will pay it. Okay, so, you know, we've got a big problem there. So I'm just going to continue on. Okay, so I did show you this stuff. I've ordered the signs and the t-shirts with a little bit thicker international no on it. And then we've got the state with these co-requisites. Okay, this was Texas Governor Greg Abbott. He's going to the use of co-requisite remediation as a required model for students in developmental education courses. Now, this developmental education is a fine thing if we do have students that don't quite get it, but we've got far too many students coming out of CCISD that are unqualified to take college courses at Del Mar College. Now, the ones that are prepared usually will go into a 4-year institution somewhere, and that leaves a lot of students that needed to learn English, math, and reading and so forth in the CCISD. Now, there are students that can probably do very well if they were a little bit weak, not totally weak, coming out of CCISD, and they needed to have their educational studies and so forth developed and for them. My wife was a assistant professor over here. She was a developmental reading teacher, okay? And she did a lot of good work for a lot of students. So I don't necessarily do that. But here we go. We've got the state with no educators up there meddling in everybody's business again. And like I say, I really do resent the fact that we have a bunch of people at the state level that they're just not cutting it, folks. They want to stick their noses in where they're not welcome. And here's my cup. It's got this logo on it, and on the back it says reduce taxes, reduce administrative bloat, and increase academic standards. Okay? And, you know, what can I say? We need it. So I'm going to substitute this for a while for that one that I have had in my hand for years and years on both television shows. I do the also the South Texas News and Reviews, and that comes after this show. I think it's 9 o'clock on Tuesdays, and then it precedes the Wednesday. I think Wednesday leads it off with that at 8 o'clock. So keep in touch. I do that also. Now another thing that bothers the stuffings out of me is the fact that you're being messed over big time by the Employees Retirement System of Texas, which is the one that buys the insurance for the state employees, okay, through that system. And they have adopted and given a contract to Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas, which my primary care physician for many years did not accept. He says, I'm not going to deal with those people. They're substandard. I won't deal with them. They're hard to deal with, and they want to cut my throat and save a whole bunch of money by paying me less than Medicare pays. Okay? So there are 225,000 Texas employees that have been affected by that. And there are many, many physicians across the state of Texas that says, no, we're not going to do that. So I'm losing my primary care physician. Now my alternative will be to go over and go on Medicare. I'm gray enough and old enough to do that. And then I'm going to make sure that the ERS system, the Employees Retirement System of Texas, reimburses you fine folks out there for any insurance premiums that they're paying for administration of the health care system. Okay. And then I've got bug after bug after bug here. This is Blue Cross Blue Shield. They send me these letters in pairs, and that costs you taxpayers out there too, folks. Why do they want to duplicate stuff? Subject, reminder to help us with your provider choice. Okay? Dear Gerald Sansing, we're following up about the primary care physician PCP selection for Gerald Sansing. We previously notified you that a new PCP choice was needed. At this time, we have not received the new selection. If you've already selected a new PCP, please disregard this letter. Now, the steps to go online is go online to this and to find a provider in your plan's network. Well, they don't exist anymore, folks. There are very few people, physicians, that will put up with this nonsense and this very unprofessional method that I've heard about from a lot of my physician friends. Okay? Log into your Blue Access for Members account to make your PCP selection, or call a Blue Cross Blue Shield Texas personnel health assistant toll free at this number, okay, to make your PCP select or for help finding a PCP. And I got two of these. They're identical letters, both dated to me on January 6th of this year. Now, why would we have all that postage being paid? And then they put it into Arabic, Chinese, French, German, Hindi, Japanese, Korean, Laotian, Navajo, Persian, Russian, Spanish, Tagalog, Urdu, Vietnamese, and so forth, so that I can get the message from them, so I'd understand what they're talking about. That's real big of them, isn't it? It's very, very benevolent to screw us around at that level. Okay. Then we've got other problems at Delmar College that I wanted to address quickly. And this goes hand in hand too. Now this is an overview of what's going to happen. Okay, this is how I understand the flow of the budgets we approve into the financial statements that will be presented tomorrow. Okay, this was before a board meeting in December. Okay, the debt service budget, which was $8 million 2 years ago, is swollen to $16 million. Okay, when we issue all the bonds that have been approved, the interest alone will be about $12 million, and that's on a yearly basis. Okay, that's the interest, and then we're paying off the note, the principal, on top of that over, I think, 25 years. We should be required to provide a sinking fund. If not, someone will have a huge problem in 25 years. Okay, to retire the debt in the 25-year life of the bonds will require a sinking fund of another $12 million per year. Okay? The debt service budget can only be funded from ad valorem tax collections, as I understand it. So, $12 million in interest per year, declining as the bonds are repurchased, provided we have a sinking fund. Okay, $12 million a year sinking fund. That means $24 million to fund the new debt plus interest payments and sinking fund payments of the current debt. Then add the additional operating expenses of the new buildings and campus to the maintenance and operating budget. Okay, then we've got to pay more workers. We've got to pay more faculty members. We've got to pay more, secretaries, and they're the backbone folks of the college. It's not necessarily the administration. It's the people that work for the administration. Okay, faculty included. And I could not get along without the fine administrative assistant that we've got in our department and the ones that are across campus in different places. Okay, and I had a real good experience with the registrar's office when I have tried to get Miss April enrolled for some classes. It was a mess, and what we need to do is if we're going to fund something, let's fund hiring some help over there for the registrar's office and some of these other very important offices where we don't have an overload of bureaucrats, administrators, and so forth and so on. And then I can't get into, well, let me just get into this one. I won't get into Dr. Bruce Olson's lawsuit and the millions of dollars we're spending and are going to spend again to try to appeal what the jury said. This came out November 20th. Faculty finds fire system alarming. Some voice concerns over safety in the Venters building. And here's a line of hooey. We've got people, security guards, that walk around the building because they can't either find the pieces of or they won't hire somebody to fix that fire alarm system over there in that building. And that building's not that old, folks. Okay? So enjoy. And then now we've got this new mascot over here. But since the taxpayers are always left holding the bag around here, I've shown this disgusting picture, but I think it exemplifies what we're faced with around here with Delmar and the city and so forth and so on. The city won't comply with ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act. But there it is, folks. There's the taxpayers holding the bag one more time, and that's what we get in our bag all the time. Okay? Another line of hooey and another pile of it. Well, I'm going to go and turn this thing off and wish you a good week. If you have any comments, like I say, it's gsansing@gmail.com, and let me know what's going on, and I'll be glad to email you back and so forth. And what I think I'm going to do is just go ahead and put a shot of these beautiful roses. And thank you, Mom, Miss Lynn, and April 23. You're all very, very fine people. Okay, those are gorgeous. Anyway, I do, like I say, I really would like to hear from some of you about some of these problems we've got around here. I'm trying to explain them to you. I know at times the time I have is a little bit limited. That's why I do the South Texas News and Reviews in addition to this one. This is taxpayers. And as Joe O'Brien used to say for many, many years, he says, silence is not the answer if you're a taxpayer and you've got people swindling you out of your money on a daily basis.